It is traditional for the graduating students to select from among their peers one individual to deliver the student address at this commencement. I am pleased to introduce tonight's student speaker, Joy Richter.
Good evening, faculty, family, friends, and graduating DPT class of 2011. Holy bananas, can you believe that we finally made it here? I was honored to be selected to be the class speaker. However, when we were deciding on who would be our main speaker, I suggested that we pick the most boring speaker we've ever had so our families would know what kind of torture we've been through. Sorry. So I'm not quite sure what to think about being selected to speak here tonight. It seems like only yesterday that we all piled nervously into Siemens 11, wearing our professional attire, wondering if that kid's name was really Jay or Philip, and wondering what the next 3 years of our lives would bring us, or the next 1,003 days, as Aaron's cell phone countdown to graduation told us. Now we have made it to the night that culminates those 3 years. If you ask me to summarize all that I've learned in the past 3 years, my eyes may glaze over and I may go into an inner state of panic as I realize that I'm taking boards next week and everything I've learned should be ready at a moment's notice. But in all honesty, it is hard for me to verbalize all that I have learned. And I don't believe our professors expect us to memorize every word they've uttered, right? But there were certain tidbits, certain tools to put in our proverbial toolboxes, if you will. And we always knew when those certain nuggets of information were coming our way, when we heard those three words that may even wake up the back row of the classroom. And those words were the gold standard. Looking back on it now, I wish I would have kept a notebook to keep track of the number of times I heard the phrase, the gold standard during school. Really, there are gold standards for everything. Special neuro and orthopedic tests, wound care treatments, and even which shoes to jump in. FYI, KEDs are the gold standard. With all of these gold standards being thrown around, it only made sense to adopt the gold standard as our class motto. Of course, I thought this was hilarious, and I clearly still think it is. But the more time I spent in the clinic, and the more time I spent reflecting on our education here, the more I believe that this truly fits our class now, and is something we should continue to strive for in our future professional and personal lives. Now I know that any student you talk to will tell you that their school was the best. But I believe we have been truly blessed with the knowledge and education we have received here. We have professors that work hard to challenge us, to push us to succeed, and yet still remind us that they're real humans who sometimes just like to watch the birds, or struggle to pronounce the word figure. But they have pushed us to seek out new research, practice with all of our hearts, and to always put the needs of the patient first. This is a Mayo graduation. I had to throw that in there. We have been challenged to practice at a level that can be dubbed the gold standard. Oftentimes, the long hours in the classroom and the lab seem like they would never pay off. But the best moments in the clinic for me were those times when something just seemed to click from the classroom. When I could watch a patient walk, look at their pelvis, and think of Jim Yautis leaping across the room with his large pointer stick yelling, "Look at their pelvis, people! Watch the people in the subway walk! Look at their pelvis move!" When I could do ultrasound and I would think, what would Denise think of this technique? And what would Tim tell me is going on at a microscopic level? When I see a wound, notice that it smells sweet, and silently thank Heather McCormick for drilling it into my head that Pseudomonas smells sweet. Those are the times that thrill me and scare me to death. I have tiny Mayo professors in my head, yelling, encouraging me, and my Desiree replica is constantly yelling at me and trying to fire up my reticular activating system. I'll pause to let you remember that one for the boards. Those are some of the best moments for me. As we go out tonight, walk across the stage, and shake hands with the professors many of us would secretly like to give giant hugs to, we are completing a step of our journey. But that journey is not over. We are all off to our new grown-up jobs where we will actually get paid for the therapy we provide, and where we will be the final say on the care those patients receive. As you all start your practice, I hope you continue to be plagued by the tiny Mayo professors in your head, as I encourage you to dig into that toolbox that is now more likely the size of a U-Haul to be the best therapist you can be. We really did set a standard. Not a mediocre standard, a gold standard. I am proud to be a part of this class and a part of this school. I cannot wait to hear about the accomplishments that will continue to come from the people of this class. It has been a true honor to be your classmate, to be your student, and to be a part of the gold standard. Just remember, as we leave here today, we may not ever be together again as a full class, but we are, and always will be, the gold standard. BAM.
Thank you, Joy. Got that figured. We will now present our student